Hi, I'm Geoff Cameron, and this is my hemp house at Narara Eco Village. This is the site where the house was constructed. This is showing the site before construction. It's a northeast facing gentle slope in a beautiful green valley surrounded by forest, but that of course creates a bushfire issue. The site was rated BAL 29, which did provide some limitations on the design and the materials. This is the design of the house, which the architects came up with. I have to declare the architects were my daughter and her husband, and the balcony and the large glass doors face due north. So the site was very conveniently oriented for passive solar design, and also meant the large sloping roof was ideally positioned for PV panels facing due north. And that was a very deliberate part of the design. This is a section through the house. It's concrete slab on ground, and we did use slab edge insulation right around the perimeter of the slab and down to the bottom of the beam. The concreter who poured the slab had been in the industry for 40 years, had never seen it in his life. But in particular, you can see that the architect has modelled the passive solar penetration of the sun into the house and down onto the slab for midsummer and midwinter to provide that passive solar heating, but also shading in summer. And the size and angle of the eave on the northern wall is critical for that in relation to the area of glass. And you can also see up in this corner, we have clerestory windows, and they're very important, not just for lighting, but also for the chimney effect cooling on a cool summer's evening by opening areas of glass at the bottom and at the top of the building. The warm air will move out under its own steam without the necessity of a fan or a breeze. You can also see that the living areas are all on the north side of the house, and the bathroom, and as you'll see in a moment, the bedrooms are all along the south side of the house. The angle of that roof where the PV panels are located is 20 degrees, which is fairly ideal for the location of the house, which is just north of Sydney. This is the footprint of the house. North is directly up at the top of the screen. And as you can see, the bedrooms are all along the south wall. There's a walkway through the centre of the house with store and laundry off the walkway, a kitchen, a large kitchen, and a large walk-in pantry off the kitchen. One of the steps in getting a house built in the eco village is to have the sustainability aspects approved by the community, which involves detailed reports on sustainable materials, appliances, energy efficiency, recycling of materials at end of life and so forth. But another step is this, which is you need to position your house in relation to your neighbourhood houses, and all of your neighbours then get to discuss whether they're happy with the designs of each other's house. And that has to be signed off formally before your design goes to council. This is the finished house. This is looking at the northern wall, which is where the deck is located. You can now see the PV panels. There's actually 36 of them, which is an 11 kilowatt system. And that roof is large enough to take 20 kilowatts. Happily, we own the grid inside the village. We are not only the network, we're also the retailer. So we have very good relationships with our local grid. Unfortunately, the village grid doesn't have great relationship with Ausgrid. So that system, although it's been up there for several months, hasn't been switched on yet until we resolve an issue with Ausgrid. So fingers crossed on that. You can see on the left-hand wall there is the heat pump hot water system, which is obviously to be powered by the roof. It'll be run during the day. And you'll notice under the deck there's water tanks. The whole roof area drains to those water tanks. But the house itself has 2 water suppliers, drinking water and recycled water. The recycled water, we're in the process of designing a reed bed system to take water from a local dam, which is a very large irrigation dam on our site, and reticulate that through the recycled water line, so that toilet flushing and garden watering happens with our own dam water. So the roof tanks are a 3rd water source, and I've plumbed the house so that I can, in any time in the future, run a grey water system, which will be a 4th water source. And you can see some garden beds sitting on a sandstone wall over here. They're actually wicking beds from Kimbrickie Recycling Depot in northern Sydney. This is the western wall of the house. You get a good view of the sloping roof facing north, and the garden area. You see the driveway is a green driveway. It has plastic reinforcing under the grass. You'll also notice that the western wall has no windows at all. When we submitted the plans to council, they came back with a notice of rejection. There are no windows in that wall, and you can see it from the street. We offered to paint a picture of a window on the wall if that would satisfy them. But in the end, they saw the sense, given that the thermal efficiency of their house ended up being 8.8 stars when rated by neighbours. It's a very efficient house, and we didn't really want to disturb the efficiency for the sake of aesthetics. This is the interior of the living area from the kitchen, looking through the dining into the living area. The far wall is exposed hemp. Most of the hemp inside the house has been left exposed, and it's a beautiful look. You also see there's a wood burner heater, which is the only heating in the house, and you'll see fans. That's the only cooling in the house. And you also see the lights up in the ceiling, mounted under the ceiling, so there's no penetration through the insulation layer in the ceiling. The timber windows, because of the bell rating, bell 29, very limited in what material we could use for our timber windows. This is actually Murray River red gum, which is a really beautiful timber. And you'll see the exposed slab. It's a lightly polished concrete, not polished right through to the stone. And this gives a good view of the passive solar heating, the sunlight coming through the large glass areas in midwinter, warming that slab, and it's working really well. You'll also notice a little box up here on the wall. That's heat recovery ventilation. There's 2 pairs of those in opposite walls, either east and west ends of the house. And that allows us to ventilate the house in midwinter and in midsummer without gaining or losing heat. And they're very low power units. They take as much power as a phone charger. So that's a great idea when your house is well air sealed, as this one is, and you have efficient insulation. And this is looking back towards the kitchen and into the pantry. The pantry shelves are second-hand from Gumtree. They cost $15. And the splashbacks are actually offcuts from the bench tops. And you can see an opposite pair of heat recovery ventilation units. A view into the bathroom, and very happy. These tiles were actually manufactured in Newcastle, which is only an hour and a half's drive from where the house is located. So that was a great find. And this is the deck, the view from the deck on a sunny day looking out over the valley. And past, yes, they are 2 tiny houses, which are very popular within the village, both for sustainability and for financial reasons. You get to share the rent or the cost of the land with your tiny house occupant. And the timber on the deck, because of the bell rating, is spotted gum and black butt. You'll notice the clear polycarbonate sheeting. That's only over the central area of the deck. And important to choose one which doesn't have a sunscreen built into it. Very often they do, but that would reduce the heating of the sun coming through the ceiling and then through the glass onto the slab. So that's something to watch out for. And this is the neighbourhood now. As the houses pop up, the village is well underway. So this is Geoff's hemp house. Thank you for watching.